Hello students, yesterday we have seen the number of signals present in the NMR spectrum of a given compound. Today we will study the position of the signal. Position of the signal will tell me what type of the protons are present in a molecule. This is possible because all the protons in a molecule do not have same resonance frequencies, as the protons in a molecule are surrounded by electrons and each proton is like existing in a slightly different electronic environment. The protons have different electronic surroundings. The protons are shielded by electrons that are present surrounding to them. In an applied magnetic field, valence electrons of the protons they start circulating around the nucleus, and due to this circulation, there is a generation of a magnetic field. This magnetic field generated by the circulating electrons is called as induced magnetic field. This induced magnetic field works in a opposite direction to the applied magnetic field. This induced magnetic field opposes the applied magnetic field. This applied magnetic field strength is decreased. This induced magnetic field is also called as diamagnetic ring current or diamagnetic shielding. Shielding means what? The nucleus is shielded. Nucleus is shielded from what? Nucleus is shielded from applied magnetic field by the circulating electrons. So in a way, what we can say that the electrons surrounding to a nucleus protect the nucleus from the applied magnetic field. More the electron density around a nucleus, greater will be the induced magnetic field. And if magnetic field generated is greater, then in that case the applied magnetic field strength or will be opposed more strongly. If the applied magnetic field is opposed strongly, the magnetic field strength is decreased. Whose magnetic field strength? Applied magnetic field strength is decreased. And as the applied magnetic field is decreased, then what happens? The nucleus experiences less applied magnetic field. If nucleus is exposed to less applied magnetic field, the nucleus will process at a lower frequency and nucleus will absorb lower radio frequency radiations. And as the different protons have different electronic surrounding, the protons are shielded differently and have different absorption frequencies. So this is the reason why we get different signals for different protons. As we get different signals for different protons, we are able to find out the structure of an unknown compound. For recording the chemical shift value, we have to use a reference compound. We directly cannot record the absorption frequencies. This is because the absorption frequencies of all protons are have very small differences, and it becomes very difficult to record the exact absorption frequencies. So that's why what is done, with reference to a reference compound, the signals are recorded. The reference compound signal is assigned as a zero value, and from that value how much shift the signal is showing, that is recorded. So signals are recorded in terms of the shift. Now the TMS is very easily available compound. It is volatile compound. The protons present in the TMS all are equivalent and highly shielded protons. That's why the TMS is used as a reference compound. Silicon is electropositive element. It shields the protons of all four methyl groups, and most of the compounds are having their protons less shielded than TMS proton. That's why the TMS is used as a reference compound, and organic protons absorb downfield It is towards the left of the TMS signal. Chemical shift is measured in terms of the delta value, which is expressed in parts per million. The delta is expressed in terms of distance of the signal downfield from the TMS in hertz divided by operating frequency of the machine in megahertz into 10 raised to 6. Look at these two scales. This is the scale on 60 megahertz machine, and this is the scale on 300 megahertz machine. That is, operating frequencies are different. Now if you look, this is the zero with respect to both the operating frequencies, but look at this first unit on the scale. This is 60 megahertz on 60 hertz on 60 megahertz machine, and this is 300 hertz on 300 megahertz machine. That is, the values in terms of the hertz are different at different operating frequencies. But look at this scale, which is a delta scale. This one and this one, they are same. This 60 hertz and this is 300 hertz. So the delta scale is same for all the operating frequencies, but the hertz scale is different for different operating frequencies. So what we can say, that the chemical shift is independent of operating frequency of the spectrometer. Now look at this. This is the position of the reference compound, and this left side, from right to left, the scale is increasing. So what we call this region where the lower delta values are there, we call that as a shielding zone, and higher delta values are there, that is called as de-shielding zone. And as we go from right to left, we call that as a downfield shift. That is, let us consider the signal 1, 2 and 3. The signal at 2 will be downfield from signal at 1, but it will be upfield from the signal at 3. Then let us consider one example, methyl bromide. It absorbs at 162 Hz from TMS on 60 MHz machine, while at 100 MHz it absorbs at a 270 Hz value. That is, on two different machines, the same compound shows two different absorption frequencies. So it becomes difficult to record the same or remember the same compound on different machines. That's why a scale which is independent of operating frequency, that is delta scale, that is used to record the absorption frequencies. So on delta scale, the signal will be observed at 270 ppm on both the machines, 60 megahertz machine as well as on 100 megahertz machine. That is, the important thing is that the delta scale is independent of operating frequency. Let us consider some characteristic values of chemical shift. 0 to 10 or 0 to 12 is the usual scale of delta values. From right side, let us consider right side region shows, or lower delta value means the protons are shielded protons, and higher delta value means the protons are de-shielded protons. So from 0 to 1.5 region, the protons present on a saturated carbon atom, that is sp3 hybrid carbon atoms, are recorded in this region. Then from 1.2 to 2.5, the protons present on a allylic carbon atom, that is, the protons present on a carbon atom that is attached to a carbon-carbon double bond. This carbon atom is a allylic carbon atom, and the protons present on a carbon atom which is attached to carbonyl group. Now as we move from 2.5 to up to 4.5, here the protons are still present on a sp3 hybrid carbon atom, but the carbon atom is attached to an electronegative element. This Z can be oxygen or nitrogen. Look at this here. This carbon atom is attached to a sp2 hybrid carbon atom. This carbon atom is attached to a sp3 hybrid carbon atom, and this carbon atom is attached to electronegative element. Then the next region is 4.5 to 6.5. This is a vinylic region, or we can say that it's a olefinic region. Protons present on the olefinic carbon atom will absorb in the region of 4.5 to 6.5. Then the next region is 6.5 to 8, where the aromatic protons are observed. Then 9 to 12, in this region, the protons present on aldehyde carbon atom. They are observed usually at 9 ppm value, and the carboxylic acidic OH protons are observed in this region from 9 to 12. Sometimes this value goes above 12 also. Depending on different factors, the values are changed. We have not given the exact values, we have given the range. This is because the different factors affect the chemical shift value, and they change the chemical shift values, and so we get different positions or different signals at different chemical shift values. So in next lecture we will study the different chemical shift